Growing up, my father and I really bonded through baseball, and when high school came around, I was on the freshman baseball team, and as the year progressed, I started having some shooting pain down my leg that really started to bother me, and it got to the point that I could barely make it up a flight of steps. I eventually went to see a doctor down here at UC, and he ordered some imaging just to make sure I didn't have any herniated disc or something pinching any of the nerves in my lower back. I went back to school the next day, and my dad was supposed to pick me up afterwards. A buddy of mine on my baseball team had asked me to stay after school and hit some balls in the cage. When I texted my dad, I asked him if that would be okay, and he said, "No, we need to talk." And as most kids would do, I started to panic, started to think about all the stuff that I could be in trouble for. When I got into the car, my dad looked at me and said, "I don't know how to tell you this, but I have to tell you before your mom sees you. She can't hold herself together right now. But son, the doctor called a few hours ago. He said that your MRI showed that you have a large tumor in your spinal canal. He said you need emergency surgery or this thing will paralyze you." I'm not quite sure. I realized at the time that the impact this would have on my life. 3 days later, I went into surgery, and the surgery is supposed to last from 4 to 6 hours. They went in and removed my lower spine and began pulling nerves one by one off the tumor. My parents sat out in the waiting room, and 6 hours went by, and a nurse came out to inform them that there had been some complications and that the surgery was going to be longer than expected. After 14 hours of surgery, the nurse came back out and informed my parents that I had lost too much blood, and the doctors had to sew me up without 4 of my vertebrae in my lower back. They removed the rest of my tumor, put in synthetic vertebrae, graft, and fused my spine. They determined I would need a month of rehab in the hospital to relearn how to walk and build my strength. I left the hospital in 8 days. On day 5, I walked with no assistance. Day 6, I was able to kick a ball down the hallway. Day 7, walk up a flight of stairs. And on day 8, a nurse walked into the room and sat a remote on the ground. He said, "Austin, if you can pick this remote off the ground, you get to go home today." That nurse stood there with me for an hour, encouraging me and telling me that I could do it until I finally did. The nurse that I encountered throughout that process is the one that led me into nursing. I instantly knew I wanted to be a nurse. However, what I didn't realize is that having spinal cancer wasn't going to be the hardest obstacle I'd have to face in life. That would come when I entered nursing school. I stand here today having had 47 MRIs, 32 x-rays, and 9 CT scans in the last 7 years. As you can imagine, the medical expenses for my condition were extraordinary. I made it through the first year of college and spent that summer at my parents' house. I had no idea that my parents were sinking financially until one evening my father approached me and said, "Austin, I don't know how to tell you this, but we're really in trouble. We're in a lot of debt, and there's no way we're going to be able to help you with school." I was working 50 to 60 hours a week on top of going to school full-time. I'd get home at 3 or 4 in the morning and go to class at 7 or 8 a.m. And every month I would send my parents a $500 check to help them out with my medical expenses. A few of my mentors here at the college advised me to apply for scholarships, apply for aid, and find a way to make this work. I didn't think that there was any way I'd be able to get any scholarships, as my grades were definitely subpar to my classmates. To my surprise, I was given scholarships that not only enabled me to stay in school, but to also cut back my hours at work and eventually get a job at a hospital where I've learned so much. Today I can say with confidence that in 4 short months, I'll be able to add RN behind my name.